What is up, everyone? I'm Skratch. Welcome to the channel. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. I'm currently on Bielanova's account, guys. Big shout out to him because he's probably one of the very first people in the game to actually get the mythical champion from the Chimera. He must have had insane luck with the drop rates on the chests in terms of fragments, because I haven't missed anything and I'm only on 89 fragments. So I still need at least 2 more weeks to basically get the mythical champion. So in today's video, guys, we're going to do a showcase. We're going to see if Embrys is actually a solid mythical champion. Now, initially, I did mention a couple of things about the champion. Since then, quite a few things changed related to polymorph, right? And that's mainly because you have the pinpoint, you have the feral, you have, of course, the wand, which is definitely a pretty solid relic to counter polymorph and other crowd control debuffs. So this champion has a support and an HP base form, which is kind of like meant to deal damage. The initial form is kind of like a control-ish sort of form in a way or another. AoE attack destroys each target's max HP by 3%. Also increases the duration of one random debuff on all enemies by 1 turn. This effect cannot be resisted if enemies have any necrosis stacks. So you guys know the drill with the necrosis stacks. You place them on enemies, they deal damage over time, and if they have champions that are dead, it's gonna be hard for them to revive, but basically they will revive, and that's when the necrosis stack goes away. Then, places a True Fear debuff on all enemies for 1 turn, and a 50% decrease attack debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. These effects cannot be resisted if enemies have any necrosis stacks, then grants an extra turn. With the A3, AoE attack, and this is on a 4-turn cooldown, a massive wall of text, attacks all enemies, removes any stone skin buffs and replaces them with True Fear. 50% chance to remove the stone skin buffs. Remember that. Nothing different for this champion either. Then, block debuffs will be replaced with block buffs debuff. Also removes any buffs positively affecting stats and replaces them with mirrored debuffs equivalent. So, initially, I got this wrong because not everything is mentioned in here. So basically, any positive buff that exists in the game will be replaced with a negative debuff that exists in the game, as long as the equivalent of that exists. So initially, I thought that is just for these ones right here, but they're just giving you an example. Then steals 5% of each target's stir meter for each buff converted into a debuff by this skill. Also, decreases the stir meter of all enemies by 20%. These effects cannot be resisted if enemies have any necrosis stacks. Then you have the passive. So basically, whenever an enemy is killed, places 1 necrosis stack on all other enemies. Necrosis stacks cannot be resisted or blocked. Necrosis stacks can only be removed by reviving dead allies. This effect does not work against bosses and their minions. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, this effect will only activate once. At the start and the end of this champion's turn, instantly activates any necrosis stacks on all enemies. Even if he activates them, they will not disappear, only when they revive. Now, when you are in the Chimera and you have the necrosis stacks on you, I feel like the boss won't allow you to revive with the very first attempt, right? If I remember it correctly. I don't think this will be the same, actually, so I don't think they will have any issues whatsoever when they need to revive. You have an HP aura for all battles. Pretty good base stats on the champion, 111 base speed. So this one right here is kind of like should we give him accuracy or we shouldn't give him accuracy? Should we just have somebody kill an enemy quick and then pray that this will proc and then none of these skills will be unresistible? Should we make him slower than some damage dealers, basically, right? Then, the Metamorph HP base right here. It does look pretty badass. The stats, once again, really good, 24.6k HP. With A1, attacks an enemy, places an extra hit if the target has any necrosis stacks. Plus, places a block revive debuff if this attack kills an enemy. Damage based on HP and accuracy. With A2, an AoE attack deals double damage to enemies whose accuracy is lower than this champion's accuracy. Ignores 50% of each enemy's defense, whose accuracy is equal to or higher than this champion's accuracy. So mainly you want to ignore the defense because that is much better than just deal double damage in most scenarios. Now the problem is that if you're building him with high accuracy, you're gonna slack on building him with good damage. And so far the multipliers, in terms of having high accuracy, they don't really feel that good. With the A3, your life is forfeit. Swaps HP with an enemy. If the target is a boss, fully restores this champion's destroyed max HP and fully heals this champion instead. Each time this skill is used, increases the champion's ignore defense effects by 10%, while in the alternate form, stacking up to 50, then grants an extra turn. And of course, you have the passive. When the champion dies, reflects damage equal to 50% of the fatal hit back onto the attacker, including any surplus damage. This actually sounds really good, to be honest, but it is on a 5-turn cooldown on the active effect, actually, sorry. Whenever an enemy is killed, places one necrosis stack on all other enemies. Necrosis stacks cannot be resisted or blocked. Necrosis stacks can only be removed by reviving dead allies. If there are multiple champions, only one will work, but you can't have multiple champions of this one. The active effect, if this champion is about to get killed by a fatal hit, preempts that hit and instantly places a revive on that buff on them for 1 turn before the damage is taken. So, he can actually come back to life, which is actually really good. Overall, it's not the worst kit in the game. It's not necessarily the best kit in the game either. So what I quickly want to show you guys is basically the multipliers, right? So if we're quickly going to check his multipliers, where are we? Wait. We are on Embrys, right? Yeah. So if we're going to go to the metamorph. What's happening? Where are my multipliers? Okay, we just swapped back. Maybe I was blind before. My bad. Okay, there we go. So you have on the A1, 0.25 HP plus accuracy. I'm not really sure exactly what it means. 10,000 accuracy. Slash 10,000. I'm a bit confused by this. I'm not gonna lie. Then on the A2, you have 0.28 HP plus accuracy. And the A3, of course, doesn't hit. But the breakdown, it seems to be godlike in terms of damage. Now, as I've mentioned, I'm not on my account. Big shout out once again to Bielanova for letting me jump in. Big shout out to the Celestials. And let's quickly check the build. Now, one thing that we don't have on him at the moment, books. So he's not booked, which maybe a little bit will basically kind of like skew the whole test, but it's still good enough because let's be honest, it's super hard to get the books. Not everybody will get to book the champion instantly. So this is the build. We have a Savage and a Stone Skin set. We have decentish accuracy. Keep in mind we don't have a Blessing. We don't have a Relic because I'm not trying to bump up his damage like this. I'm actually trying to see exactly what the champion can do at its bare minimum. 100k HP, 226 speed, full crit, 279 crit damage, 300 accuracy. On the other form, 109k HP, almost 110, 220 speed, full crit, 292 crit damage, 300 accuracy. Now, when we are going versus champions with high accuracy, we're going to ignore defense. When we're going versus champions that have lower accuracy, we're going to deal double damage. First, I will try to head into the Doom Tower, guys, to find a stage that will allow us to kind of like get a better idea of what sort of damage he deals. So we're going to go on floor 69. And we're going to keep Lydia in here, and I'm going to bring him in as well. So I'm not going to use his aura just to inflate the stats even more. We're going to keep him as he is. We're going to have a look at the animations, even though we have seen them in their videos and stuff. So let's do that. So right here, if we are killing somebody, right, we put that necrosis stack, and none of these debuffs will be will require accuracy, which is good. So let's try to put fear, decrease attack. Right here we have that extra turn, right? So now we can go into the A3 and okay, decentish damage, considering that this is not the damage form, right? Okay, she removed the fear, of course. Removed all of the freaking fear by the looks of it. Or none of it procced. Or none of it procced. Now, if we are metamorphing, right? So we're gonna basically swap the HP with a target. Like this, we're basically gonna ignore 10% of the target's defense. We gain the extra turn. And let's see the damage. Okay, we got a necrosis stack on. Okay, Lydia helped with that. Because we did not let him revive. Okay, they're back. The stack, as you guys probably noticed, it disappeared because they revived, right? Now, the damage was decent. The damage was decent, but not necessarily crazy. So let's see if we can block revive on this Siffy with the A1. 31k only, definitely not that great. Of course, with books, we're going to get like 20% more damage, which is not bad. A blessing at some point as well, most likely. I'm actually curious. We don't have a way to get a blessing from the Chimera. So probably we're going to have to basically, wail out in order to get that. So let's use this skill. Now we can replace all of these buffs with debuffs. There you go, you see? So all of the positive buffs became debuffs, which is actually really nice. For Arena is going to be good, but it is pretty dangerous because of Polymorph, right? Extra turn once again. We can go with A1, AoE attack. And if we metamorph once again, maybe we can block the revive on... Actually, you know what? Let's swap the HP. Extra turn so we can ignore additional defense. Now, I'm curious, now that we metamorphed, have we lost the initial 10% ignore defense from this form? And now we basically have to stack it up again, I think, right? So A1, block revive. Okay, we have that on. Beautiful. So we have the necrosis stack on. Let's block one from reviving. So we're going to keep Siffy. We're going to let Cardinal try if she has a chance. Right now we can go once again with the AoE attack. So let's see. Okay. So we killed him. As I've mentioned, the damage doesn't blow my mind, but he's not booked. So we need to keep that in mind. Other than that, seems okay. Now I do want to continue to go on this stage for a little while, just to basically try it out a bit better. So extra turn. We can maybe do an A1. 141k. Now the damage was pretty nice there. The damage was pretty nice there. With the A1, right? That was definitely not bad damage whatsoever. So I feel like the best way to go on the champion is to try and don't get a lot of accuracy on him. Just to be able to bump up the damage. So right now we can actually do this. Replace all that. Let's lock one of them to don't revive in case if we kill somebody after. Seems like we are about to lose Lydia. Decrease attack. We have the fear on. Extra turn. We can go A1, AoE. Nice. We destroyed the HP a little bit. Okay, we got a freeze on us. This might be a bit of an issue right here with that Siffy. Actually, no, we can metamorph. We can get the HP back from this champion, and now we can go in bang with an AoE attack and wipe them all. 340k, the highest damage. Now, keep in mind, this is not the highest stage or anything like that. But so far, I think the damage is not bad. I can't complain about the damage, considering that he's not booked and no blessing. 2 million damage out of the first two waves. Pretty good hits. Now, what I do want to basically try, guys, is have a couple of fights in Arena. Now, I'm not very familiar with his account. I'm not going to do live Arena from his account because, as I've mentioned, I'm really not sure what champions he has built. I'm going to try to basically use what he's using in here as well. But I will basically drop one of these champions, and I want to try a slightly different strategy. So I'm hoping that this Georgid is faster. 218, no, we need a faster champion. Maybe we have the He-Man, and he's faster. Let's see. Is the He-Man faster? Where are you? There you go. 244. Perfect. That's exactly what we need. We need a champion to kill somebody, so that stack of necrosis procs, okay? That's what I want to see. So, even though they're not very strong teams, it's kind of like to give us an idea of what we could potentially do. So, Odin is faster. They have Stone Skin. The Necrosis stack doesn't proc on Stone Skin, which kind of sucks, to be honest. I wish it would. Let's kill Georgit. Once again, this one revived with the stack directly on. So this removes Stone Skin, right? Check this out. It did remove it from these two champions. I feel like the 50% chance procced. And the Necrosis stack procced on them as well because they have a dead champion. So whenever a champion is dead, that stack will instantly proc on them, which is actually really good. Okay. I will try to find some better teams as well, of course. Okay. 3 stacks right now, as you guys can probably notice. We activate the stack. I'm trying not to kill her. Hopefully she's not gonna die. Okay. Stack got activated. So they both have 2 stacks. Once again, it got activated, 5k damage. So the stacks on their own, they don't do a lot of damage versus champions. Versus bosses, it doesn't work. So if you're thinking, well, you should try it in Hydra, you should try it in the clan boss, or something like that in the Chimera, the stacks don't work in there, okay? So it's not really going to bring us much to the table, except fear in the Chimera on one form and the decreased attack, and of course, swap the buffs. Now, let's try to find something a bit juicier. This one right here seems a bit more interesting. I'm curious if everybody has Stone Skin in here, or they don't. Okay, nobody has Stone Skin in here. So we can just kill somebody. Okay. She instantly revived. The stack instantly disappeared as well. Okay. So right now, let's try to kill once again. They have the stacks on. Beautiful. We can basically either try to do this and get all of their buffs swapped to debuffs, right? Which is really good. This is actually a very nice thing to have in your arsenal. Okay, let's kill somebody else. Okay, weak hit. I'm supposed to attack somebody else, but she was the squishiest. Now, if we're putting the fear, the decreased attack, you see the stacks do kill a little bit. So the other ones are gonna get wrecked probably now, yeah. And we're gonna try the other form as well. I'm quickly gonna try to see if I can actually find a much stronger team to go versus. A tanky team, preferably, that can survive a little bit longer, just so we can actually move back and forward with our skills. This is scary with Rotos. I'm a bit worried about that one. Seems like everybody has Odin and Marius. I will have to use a lockout champion. Probably I'm gonna drop the He-Man. And instead, I need a lockout champion. Let's see what lockout champions he has. We do have a Crixia. Hopefully we're not gonna weak hit on that Rotos. Like this, we're gonna reset the cooldown of the skills as well. Now Siphi, and her passive is here as well, so we need to keep that in mind. Rotos will lose all of the debuffs. Okay, a weak hit there, unfortunately, which is fine. Let's do that. Extra turn. So right now I can metamorph. I can swap HP with a target. And I can basically use this skill, AoE attack. Let's see. Okay, so we have 2 stacks on them. The stack cannot be removed, so Rotos cannot get rid of that one. Let's reset. I think it's gonna be pretty hard to make the most out of the champion, to be honest. That's what I think. The damage is not bad, don't get me wrong. The damage seems pretty decent, but it will be hard to make the most out of him. So we swapped HP, extra turn once again. What if we do this? Block revive, 111k or something like that. Or 112k damage, actually. 120k or whatever it was there, sorry. 112. Let's get rid of Rotos now. So whenever we take turns, those stacks activate. When we take a turn, when we end our turn, you see? And we got him down. Cool. Let's try to find something else even juicier. Is this one right here nastier than us? Probably. Let's go versus this one right here. This one should get the job done. We have a Marichka in there. They can revive a bit more often. They have Stone Skin, thankfully. Krixia might attempt to remove it, though. Oh, what happened with my Krixia? She lost Termiter, right? Okay, so I feel like I need to drop Odin and I need to drop Krixia. I don't want to remove buffs with them, actually. I need to bring in somebody else to get that job done. Okay, so right now I can basically... I can't really remove anything from them with these because they don't have any buffs that are not protected, so we cannot... Actually, can we do it? No, we cannot. Okay, I was like, oh, wait. Can we replace the protected buffs? We cannot. The good thing is that with the A2, he doesn't actually attack. So that can be actually helpful because we're not going to get weak hits or anything like that when we land the fear. Okay. Arman's weak hit. Beautiful. We need to Metamorph now. We need to Metamorph and try to do some damage. Let's do this, actually. I'm not gonna cleanse it because I wanna Metamorph and I'm gonna lose it like that. I'd rather have the immunity to make sure he's not gonna land it on me again. So right now we swap HP with Marichka. It doesn't matter because we have more HP anyway. And I'm gonna try to block Revive, right? Yeah, block Revive. Let's block Revive on Marius. Okay. They cannot revive, so the stack should be staying on no matter what. And that just slowly generate damage over time. Come on. Come on. Next round, we're going to drop Odin and Krixia, though. So we don't have them remove any buffs. Right now, we can swap HP again. And I'm going to go with the AoE. Ooh, nice. We killed them through with their shield and everything else. So that was good damage. That was good damage, actually. We do ignore 20% of the target's defense, or maybe 30. I kind of forgot how many times I actually swapped that. But because they have a dead ally where we block the revive, that necrosis stack is gonna stay on no matter what, right? So let's buff again. Let's put that Armans to sleep. And I'm gonna go to try and block the revive on Sifi. Again, almost all of the buffs are protected, so it's pointless for me to Metamorph. Okay, double stack right now. So let's actually pay a bit of attention at the damage. I need to find either a Yumeko or a Warlord as a lockout champion. 6,948 for the stack. So the damage is decentish from that, especially on champions that are squishier, right? But most likely they will be dead. So what I'm going to try to do right now is put a fear on that Armans. Beautiful. This is pointless. We can now remove the protected buffs, as you guys can probably notice. That's why I've done it again, just to show you. But they do have 2 stacks, and maybe, just maybe, now is the time for them to die. Okay. So I need him to take some turns. Come on. Come on. Okay, 8,800 on Marichka because she has higher HP. We took a turn. She died. I'm gonna kill him with the A1. I was hoping maybe for him to don't die, but even after he revived, he still took the damage from the necrosis, if you guys probably noticed that, which is interesting, right? So 700k damage. If you are in the mood for a longer fight, you can actually have a bit of fun with that. We're gonna refresh and try to find maybe even a tankier team, preferably if we can. Pythian, this one right here with Galatir seems interesting. Now I will require to drop Odin, drop Krixia, and maybe bring something to deal with that Lazarius that might actually smack us. So I'll see what other champion I'm bringing in, but I do need a lockout champion. So let's see who we can bring in. Do we have Warlord? Let's see the stats on Warlord, if he's built or not. 338, pretty slow. What about a Yumeko? Do we have a Yumeko? Is she better? 335. Okay, so they're both pretty much the same. We can get Yumeko in. And I need a speed lead. I don't want to take Armans. I don't want to have anyone that strips buffs. We can go with Arbais. We can go with Arbais. I can Metamorph if needed. Get the Stone Skin up, the Taunt, which can be helpful. Okay. So, hopefully, we're gonna take a turn and see if we can remove that Stone Skin. So let's buff again. Okay, there we go. So we have 1, 2, 3 Stone Skins. Okay, so it seems like the Stone Skin got removed. I feel like the 50% chance might not count on it. I feel like it does. He might completely forget about that 50% chance. So I will lose a couple of fights here because I want to come back and basically retry it again and again till I can see that the Stone Skin doesn't get removed. Okay. As you probably noticed, on Galatir we got resisted. I'm not even sure exactly on what. I guess was removing that Stone Skin, but it doesn't make sense, to be honest. Okay, so there we go. 3 Stone Skins. Removed again. Even though we don't have enough accuracy to remove it from Galatir, we removed it again. So if the thing with the 50% chance on Stone Skin is out of the equation, that's great. That's amazing, okay? So this will bump him up in my eyes quite a bit, because if he forgets about that random chance of removing it, and he's always removing it, that is actually really, really strong. Really, really strong. Because he's the only champion in the game that could do it straight off the back with one skill, right? Again. So I feel like this is not good RNG. This is just him removing Stone Skin no matter what. I feel like he removes Stone Skin no matter what. Even though we're getting resisted on that Galatir, we're still dropping the Stone Skin. And we don't have any necrosis stacks on any of the champions. Yeah. He removes the Stone Skin no matter what. Let's go. That's actually really, really good. Really, really good. So that does change quite a few things, in my opinion. It changes quite a few things, in my opinion. So we're gonna have to put you to sleep. No, we cannot put you to sleep. We cannot do nothing. We're locked. My God. I think we're about to get wrecked in here. Weak hits from Sifi. We're getting stunned. Oh, no. We are getting absolutely wrecked. Yes, we are getting wrecked. Okay, doesn't matter. I just wanted to basically confirm one thing, and that thing, it seems to work spot on. Okay? I'm gonna go versus this team as well. Now, I did have the increased accuracy from Arbais, right? Let's not forget that. But we still had resisted on Galatir every single time. Okay? Every single time. Do I need to buff? Yes. Demikage might cut on me. So let's do that again. Let's see. Are we removing it from here as well? Yep. He removes Stone Skin no matter what, guys. That's amazing news. Amazing, amazing news. You know why? Because I actually asked this initially. Is it still going to be a 50-50 chance? And the answer was yes. As you guys can probably notice, that was inaccurate, okay? So he can actually remove the Stone Skin with a 100% accuracy. And I'm not talking about the accuracy in game. He's just spot on with that, which is really good. Really, really good. Okay, let's forget about all that part. I was gonna say what I want to do. I should Metamorph and have that increased accuracy on to boost a bit of damage, right? But I'll have to basically wait a little bit or do a different fight where I can actually do that. So we change HP, then we can go in with an AoE. Okay. So we don't know on which targets we ignore the defense. We don't know on which targets we're dealing double damage, right? We can just assume that on Pythian was double damage. And maybe even on Harima. Let's just assume maybe we had more accuracy, right? And a 1. Block revive on 2? No. 1 hit just there on UDK. Oh. Righty. I don't know why I remember that A1 is a double hit. Okay. So now we can do that. Now we can increase our accuracy. It's a bit late because they're pretty dead, to be honest, but we're still gonna go for it. We are still gonna go for it. And we don't really have any of the big skills active, but that's fine. Harima. You see double hit right now, so I think you need a necrosis to get a double hit, right? That's why I got it a bit mixed up, maybe. That's fine. Okay. It's really good that he just drops the stone skin. I actually love that. I really, really love that. Because you can drop the stone skin and have somebody else to just go in and wipe them after, you know? Of course, lightning cage exists. A lot of things can happen. I have a feeling that blessing will be coming back into the meta. And just because of this simple thing, I think the champion is good. I think he's better than I initially expected it to be. And as I've mentioned, that was confirmed as a 50-50 chance, which is incorrect. We do have more ways to counter polymorph now. So I feel like Embrys is definitely a pretty interesting champion. A solid champion. Once we book him and all that stuff, I have a feeling that he's going to be even better. But I'll be doing that on my account. Big shout out to Bielanova once again for letting me jump on his account. And most likely I butchered his name, so apologies for that, brother. As usual, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the content, smash a like, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, help with that YouTube algorithm, ladies and gentlemen. And I will catch you all in the next video. Much love. Peace.